So I want us to make sure that our self-love is not limited to audible declarations.
My Lord, I want to make sure that our idea of self-love isn't tied to intellectualism, which is exactly what you're talking about.
Listen,
When we learn it, we go on Pinterest and we get all of the pins and we save them. We go on Instagram and we save all of the posts, or wherever we venture on the social media, or whatever authors we listen to, books we read, and we save all the things and highlight and write in the margins. That's intellectualism. I need us to do some application. Because it's one thing to know what you need to say to yourself, to know what you need to think about yourself, to know what you need to do every day. But that's some hard shit. The thing is, do you believe it? Are you embodying it? Are you moving in a direction that makes it true for you? Because we can take all the notes all day. And I'm saying it because I've been that person. I've been that person that's like read and listened and saved and, you know, all of this stuff, and then didn't apply it. I just could tell you about it. Yeah. Real talk. I could tell you about it. I wasn't applying it to myself though, because that's where the work lies. And a lot of times we feel like if we can understand the concept, then we got it down. Yeah. Nah. The real work is applying it to yourself. It's not the, oh, I can learn how this goes, or I can learn what this looks like, or I can, you know, I know all the ins and outs of this thing. But how do you apply it though? How does it apply to you? And are you practicing it? That's the thing. Because we all can read a book, and you know, we could all read The Body Keeps the Score and know all of the things, because that's an educational piece of material. But when you close that book, how do you apply that to yourself? How do you value yourself when you get that call or that text message from that person that you know isn't really invested in you? They're just invested in what you can do for them. That's when the application comes into process. When your family members put things on you that overwhelm you and you don't have time, and you fear saying no to them, what's the application? Because we got all the stuff. Don't nobody have to tell us shit else about self-love. We don't need another manual. We don't need another journal. We don't need another calendar. We don't need another podcast. We don't need nothing. The application is the part that we struggle with, because we start to feel like we're doing something wrong when we apply what we know. So that's always my thing. We know it. We know it, because when we have conversations with our girlfriends, we have conversations with our best friends. Girl, you shouldn't take that. Girl, you need to, for yourself. Girl, you should have told them no. No is a complete sentence. We got all the insight when it comes to other people and the kind of boundaries that they should put around themselves. But when it comes to that self-application, listen, there is such a line of demarcation between saving things, writing things, telling people things, advising things, and then flipping that back on ourselves. I feel like our indoctrination has even hindered us in that aspect of being able to apply healthy stuff to us. Because when you're taught not to see yourself, you just taught not to see yourself across the board. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we got great insight on everybody but ourselves, and we need to apply some of this advice that we giving to people right here. Well,
you said a word.
And I'm talking to myself. Amen, lights.
We're all talking to ourselves, right? Like, that's why I say it's a lifelong journey. Like, you don't reach the pinnacle of self-love. You're constantly becoming. When you get to the point where you think you got it figured out, that's a very good sign that you don't know what the hell you're doing. We're constantly becoming, we're constantly evolving, we're constantly coming to know ourselves in more meaningful ways. But in order to do that, we gotta listen to ourselves. That's why we do the mood chart. That's why whenever we do a therapy and theology episode, we look at the mood chart, because for some of us, that's the first time we've actually considered or taken an inventory of how we feel the whole day, the whole week, the whole month, the whole year.
And I am somebody who has to constantly be intentional about paying attention to myself, because as a person who is constantly in tune to what everybody else is thinking and doing and feeling and how everybody else is being impacted, sometimes I forget how I'm being impacted. And I feel like that's also how I got to this point of, you know what, let me step back from full-time therapy, because I was so focused on everybody else and what everybody else needed that I wasn't thinking, oh girl, your brain is leaking out of your ear. So, you need to take a break. But, it's hard to do, because looking at your own reflection, whether it's external or internal, is work. And it's a whole lot easier to pinpoint things in other people than it is to look in the mirror and say, that's you. You also need to work on that. You also need to tap into your value. You also need to be honest about how your boundaries are loose. You need to do it.
That's where the work is. If you can never identify your feelings, you're out of tune with yourself. How can you love yourself when you're not in tune? Everything can't be external. You're not loving yourself if you constantly need external validation in that area of your life. Because let me also make this clear: self-love, it's layered, it's complex. Like, you can love yourself in one way and not love yourself in another way. Because let me tell you, I still struggle with loving myself in a physical sense. And I was completely unaware of how much I hated myself for a very, very long time. I remember like early in my relationship with Pamela, she challenged me about how I see myself. Like, because I always look in the mirror, and for a while I thought it was vanity. Like, why I'd be looking in the mirror all the time? Because I was so out of touch with how uncomfortable I was with the way that I looked. So even in my romantic relationships, I thought the people I was involved with romantically were into me in spite of my physical appearance. Like, because, I'm fat, but I'm handsome and I'm smart and I'm funny and I'm a relatable person and I'm a giver. So, I got those things working for me.
It compensates for it.
I hated myself, and I was so deep into that self-loathing. And look, I had confidence in other areas of my life. I had a whole lot of confidence in other areas, but I hated myself physically.
Tell the truth. Truth.
Pamela challenged me on that. And Paradigm, when she challenged me, I was like, what you mean? Like,
what you talking about?
Like, I'm not supposed to like how I look. Everything around me told me I'm not supposed to like how I look. So yeah, I'm supposed to be hard on myself because I look like this and I'm not supposed to look like this. And everything reinforces I'm not supposed to look like this. I hated myself and I wasn't even aware of it because I had a basic paradigm, a basic assumption that my physical appearance was deficient and unacceptable. And anybody who loved me in spite of my physical appearance. But you wouldn't know that by how I moved through the world, because I was confident in other areas and I acted like I was confident about my appearance when I was really just covering up what I didn't like about myself. And I still struggle with it today.
And let me tell you something.
Hey, thank y'all for watching this segment all the way through. The entire recording of this episode is exclusively available in our digital community. You can subscribe by visiting holysmokesmovement.com and just click join our digital community. And if you enjoyed this segment, I'm sure you're going to enjoy the 2+ hour recording we did on this topic. But not only that, You'll have access to the TFC ecosystem where hundreds of us discuss these topics every day. And not only that, you can watch all of our full-length podcast recordings on demand in our digital community. And not only that, you can get the gratification of supporting a movement that's supporting you. And who doesn't want that? So again, holysmokesmovement.com, click join our digital community. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to get more free content from us just like this. And we'll see you right back here next time, where we are deconstructing harmful theology and building beloved community one cigar at a time. But like, you did know, you don't have to smoke cigars to be a part of this, right? Like only 15% of our community smoke cigars. I'm just saying.